All right, I just filmed this for Instagram or YouTube Shorts, but let's do the third set. So I've been doing the hip abduction for a little while now, I'd say like a month. I added them back in and they're a burner. So the key here is to make sure that you're bracing your core properly. I like this position like right here because it supports my shoulders and keeps me very level in the bridge. Not all machines go back, but this one does. So position your legs first, then you're going to brace your core down. Ribs are stacked. Make sure this is level. Make sure they're not flaring up and out. This is engaged. Everything's straight. This is my top set, so we'll see what I can do. Oh God. Okay, those are killer. Ugh. All right, and now I'm going to put this back up. All right. Now, I'm gonna do lean forward. I know, I probably look like I'm doing the same exercises all the time. It's because I am. Oh God. Man, I just love a morning kick me in the butt day. So what I got here for today's intro workout's the same intro workout. It's the EAA plus hydration and creatine for women. So I didn't have my mic on for these. As you'll see, it's the same as the last video. I'm just setting up for the reverse frog hypers. I do have 45-pound plates on here, I believe. And if I do not, I did work my way up to that. And then I did the Smith machine quad focused squats. And then I did the leg press. I did 3 sets with the 3 plates on each side. My rep scheme was 6 to 8 for these. And then for the squats, it was more like 10 to 12. Now I'm going to do kneeling hamstring curls. I like the kneeling because I just feel like I get really good engagement in it. I do seated and kneeling. I used to do lying, but I never really could get like the greatest engagement, even with being like more up on my elbows. I don't love it. So they have kneeling here, and I really enjoy it. So I'm making sure I'm pressing into the pad here. Up here, pause. I can really feel it in my hamstring. I do keep my toes kind of coming upward to engage the hamstring better. My rep ranges today have been, for the accessory work, around 10. For the bigger lifts, 8. Leg press, I just did 6. I didn't film my step-ups, but I did some step-ups. I try to mix up my filming. We're gonna do leg extensions. You guys like my new t-shirt? All right. So I'm very short. I like this plate-loaded leg extension though. I like to lean back. Actually, there's studies that show leaning back in the extensions works really well. All right. So once again, you want to engage through your feet. Make sure that you're pulling up so you can lengthen your muscle. Pause briefly at the top, down. Yeah. So, look at that. Look at that stupid arm. If I don't get that time, I quit. And this is why you don't quit anything that is nailed right there. Sort of. Still hate it. So posing in the morning is so difficult. Actually, this is like the longest it's taken me to get the back pose nailed. And so I had a previous injury on this side. This side now, it just seems like it's lacking range of motion. I think it has been. And since I've adjusted my back pose, it's more evident. So I've been working on it and it has gotten better. But also if I catch it the wrong angle, I could see it. So more body work, more stretching, and I don't notice it during my posing routine. It's only when I like pause to take the picture, but the picture quality is better when I have a timer. Now I could put a timer for like 10 seconds and not have a clicker, but the clicker is throwing me off. Or it could be like the guys and put it in my mouth, but I'm not doing that. But I think that is not helping because I'm holding the clicker on one side. Maybe next time I hold it on the left side and see if it makes a difference. But anyway, I'm gonna submit my check-in pictures and data, and I'll go over that with you guys a little bit later. So I dropped my daughter off at school and got my check-in in and sent. I have yet to walk. It's cold here in Florida and my treadmill is in the garage. I've got the heat on still. Well, I just put it back on. I didn't leave the space heater on. But yeah, it's cold. So I just had my digestive drink. You guys have seen that. I have not done it every single day. I missed a couple days and now I just saw our apple cider vinegar was out. So I did half the portion. It's fine. And now I have my usual breakfast, which is cream of rice, whey isolate, blueberries, almond butter, and salt. Got that ready to go. I think I'm actually gonna add some flaxseed in here today. And that's because I didn't put as much nut butter as I normally would. So I'll put that in here. I have 5 check-ins already in my inbox, so I'm going to eat and work for a little bit. And then I will probably do some work on my phone. Oh, I hope this isn't old. It's not. So I have the check-ins to do. Speaking of salt, actually, I was about to put this away. If you guys do not salt your food, you're missing out. Keep sodium in your diet, you're gonna feel a lot better. If you want more behind the reason, sign up for my coaching. I'd be happy to educate you guys on why we need sodium in our diets. It is something I look at. If a client is not having sodium, I discuss with them all of the reasons why they might want to consider salting their foods, especially eating, unprocessed foods. When you eat a lot of processed foods, then the sodium's up and it's more from adding those chemicals to stabilize the food for shelf life. Anyway, got my check-in back and my carbs are just down 10 grams per day for the next week for my check-in. Not a big drop. We're not trying to move things quickly. Apparently my countdown has been wrong this whole time. I'm like, I'm 11 and a half weeks. I don't know why I thought I was 11 weeks out on Saturday. I'll put myself a week ahead. And I'm 11 weeks out this Saturday. So plenty of time. My waist has come down at 1/4 of an inch this week while I'm on day 3 of my period. So that's pretty good. And weight loss is 0.3 to 0.5 pounds a week average. I just did a whole Instagram story about how weight is whatever. I have less value in my weight for progress than I ever used to. And I've really grown from allowing that scale to determine how I feel about my progress and determine how I feel each day. I don't feel like that matters as much anymore. I think the visual changes are evident, the measurements are evident, and yeah, I just don't care. I'm going to eat and get to my clients. All right, so I have wrapped up all the check-ins for today. It is 1:30 and I am having my second meal. Start my life. So it's chicken, broccoli, yum yum sauce, and I would have done avocado, but they're all hard and it was buy one get one free. So I have like 16 avocados that are too hard, and I put some Bragg's liquid aminos on here. I have four training updates to write, and I still have to get 20 more minutes of steps in. So a little behind because then I leave and go pick up my daughter from school. So this is what my day-to-day usually looks like. I had 2 posing clients. I had one client that I worked with for posing where she had scapular winging. So I did send her some exercises to work on to increase the range of motion and strength. And then the other client, we really focused on positioning correctly on stage and making sure that the camera is her head judge. And we worked on the turnaround, making sure that the back pose is in line to the head judge when she turns around. And we also worked on walk to the back. And we also did some drills, so some comparison round practice. So I'm going to get to the rest of this work today, and I'm going to answer some questions as they come in. The first question is, how do you deal with cravings, if you have any at all? So, yes, I am human. I know, like, a lot of competitors can look like we are anti-human. We're not anti-human. AI. No, we're not AI. Robots, right? I know a lot of us can look like we are robots because we're so consistent. You have to remember a lot of competitors have been doing this for a long time though, and that consistency over time builds up and does make things easier per se. We wake up and we do the same things. We're just like used to doing the same routines, like brushing your teeth, they always say, and it's such a cliche thing, but it is true. But I think once you establish this routine and habits and consistency, and you don't waver on one opposite end or the other, and this is something you do all the time, it does make it easier. But it also doesn't mean I don't have cravings. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I had something sweet. Typically that's when I'll go for some fruit, or I will maybe, like, sometimes I have Alyssa's oatmeal's cookies. Those tend to help. I'm not a big sweets eater, I'm not gonna lie. I would say my cravings are more for salty foods. So I love sushi. So I'll make myself like a poke bowl. If I make something myself, I can track it in. I do track macros. I'm not a person that follows a meal plan, but I do eat very basic for a macro counter. Like I don't do like a lot of highly processed foods. I don't really love bread products, even in the off season. So I will make myself a poke bowl, or if I'm craving a burger and fries, I will make myself a burger and fries. And there are like Strong Root, I believe is the brand. No, Proper Fries. And I think they're by Strong Root. Love those, put them in the air fryer. I eat fries like most of my preps, and there's like 2 ingredients. So I just try to work foods in. I do not get to go out to eat. Like I don't have untracked meals. I really didn't in the off season very often either. So learning how to incorporate those flexible foods into my diet has been helpful for me to maintain. Now, I'm not gonna lie, yesterday Dunkin' Donuts decided to give us like 10 or 12 didn't even count them, munchkins, when my daughter wanted just like a couple. So I had one chocolate one, but I tracked it in and I overestimated it. I would never do that like closer to a competition. I still have 11 weeks and I'm like way like I had a schedule, so oh well. My husband was like, you're on prep, but I'm like, I tracked it in. I would never do that though. Like I said, like as I get closer, like this is probably like the only time I would do that, just being honest. So, you know, I would suggest the same to my clients if they're dealing with cravings. Make it fit. If you're in like a pre-prep phase, you have a little more flexibility. Like if you're not competing in like, you know, 8 to 10 weeks or something, and you're one of my clients, you have a little bit more flexibility, but it also depends where your physique is. If someone's ahead of schedule, they have a little bit more flexibility. I do not recommend to my prep clients to go out to eat and track in food because there's too many variables, but this is prep clients. Lifestyle clients, girl, just go track it in like once in a while, like go out to eat. You're better to go to a restaurant where you can plug your food in. You can guest track your food. You have more flexibility as a lifestyle client. So remember, this is for contest prep. And there's so many ways you can make things. Like I love making homemade pizza, or even like a week ago, I had some frozen pizza with my daughter. Well, not even a week ago, it was Sunday, 4 days ago. And I still made progress. So that's my answer for that one. Have you been eating in surplus your whole growth season or maintenance? So, in a slight surplus, not crazy surplus, but a slight surplus. My rate of gain was, gosh, I can actually tell you what my rate of gain is. So if you guys don't have the Happy Scale app, it's amazing. And if you pay for the subscription, it gives you more data, which I'm a data girl. So my rate of gain, I competed in July as my last competition. I competed May to July. And July was July 4th. So like really I competed May, June, total, 2 months. And then the food actually started going up after the May show, like end of May show. So my carbs were actually before the end of May show. My carbs were like 200 grams at the end of May per day. And I think they were like 225, 230 going into Universe where I got my pro card. So my base was like maintenance. I was at 1,900 calories, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly. But anyway, after that, my rate of gain was 0.5 a week, 0.6, 0.7 a week in August, 0.6 in September, 0.6 start of October, and then it started slowing down to 0.2 to 0.1 in November. And then December was 0.2. And then now, just like after the holidays, without changing the plan, my rate of loss after the holidays, just being consistent, was 0.2 pounds lost a week. Consistency. And now, with prep starting, my rate of loss is 0.4 right now. So those are averages. My calories in the off season were close to 2,200. Carbs are like 275 most of the time, like for many months. They didn't change. Fats were in the upper 60s. Protein was in the 120s. I was told by a judge in the Federation I would never be pro with loose skin on the legs. How can I do fit model? Federation, I would never be pro with loose skin on my legs. Can I do fit model? So, first of all, I'm sure that was difficult for you to listen to. Also, a lot of ladies are in the same position as you. I would continue to get feedback from judges, other judges, and see if their opinion differs. Loose skin is seen in the Federation, and that can be more common in a master's athlete because the collagen does reduce over time. Also, it could be seen even in a younger athlete because if someone puts on a lot of weight or they come from a higher weight in the first place, when you lose weight, that skin has a hard time bouncing back. That skin is already expanded, so it's difficult for it to come in and be tight against your body. So taking that time in your off season to put more muscle on can help, but only to an extent, because I'm not sure how much skin you have and where it is on your legs. So it's hard to tell, like, what does that aesthetically look like? It depends on that distribution and where that skin is loose. It's very common to see loose skin on the glutes, especially in masters. That's where doing some posing adjustments can help sometimes, because I had a client, she had quite a bit. We just skipped a transition where it was even more evident that she had loose skin. And then the back pose, just making sure you're in a good position where that skin is not hanging, and also making sure your suit fits well so that you don't see more skin. I see sometimes skin around the glutes going around the curve of the suit. So there are some ways that you can go around it in regards to your appearance on stage. Now, to get your pro card, I'm not sure. It's always who you're next to at the end of the day, and you have your overall package. That includes so many things. Includes your muscularity at a certain point for fit model. You don't want to be over muscled, but you also don't want to be under muscled. You also don't want to be not conditioned enough, but not too conditioned. You also want to make sure your stage presence is on point. There's just so many factors. And it just depends who shows up that day. So I can't be like, oh yeah, you're never going to win, especially when I'm not sure what you look like on stage, especially in person. We can look at pictures and all of that, but what does the skin look like moving on stage? It's hard to say. I'm seeing a lot of people say fit model is only for the younger ladies. What are your thoughts on master? Well, I am masters. 42 this year. I don't think so. I do put it out there a lot that there were 4 of us that were in our 40s that got our pro cards in open, at Universe, and even at Junior USA. I did just open. They don't have masters, and I got second there. So I always say, I think it's possible. You can do great in open, but they do have masters as an option, as a route to get your pro card as well. And I think it's important to just like be honest with yourself with where your physique lies. And like I was stating about the skin stuff, it is a little bit more common in masters athletes depending on that person. For me, just my history of fitness and how long I've been consistent, and I haven't had rapid weight gain except for pregnancy, which can wreak havoc on your skin, on your core. But just with my history, I haven't had a huge bounce up of weight in general. So my skin has never expanded to that amount, like in regards to my legs and glutes. So I don't have that loose skin right now. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna get it like next year. But by keeping your weight closer and in check and not having extreme weight gain, that can help you with your skin quality, especially as a master's athlete. Also, not having rapid weight loss helps with that skin and keeping that tighter along your body. Also, hydration is key. So drinking water, but also hydrating your skin. Like I use a lot of oil. When I get out of the shower, I oil my whole body. So that's one of my secrets to the aging. And last question, what is the main reason you switched to Fit Model? So I switched because of my muscularity. I didn't have enough muscle for the national or pro qualifying level. I was told to put on 5 pounds of muscle, and that wasn't going to happen. Well, I was going to try. So it's going to take a year and a half off or so and give it another go. But about 6 months into my off season, they announced Fit Model. So I asked the judges that judged me here in Florida, I said, what do you guys think? And they're like, that's your division. That's perfect for you. So when you have like that reassurance, like, yeah, that's you, all you. Because I did well in bikini because of the shape. I just never had the density. So I switched and I'm happy. It meets my genetics. I'm probably never gonna cap it out. And I think I put enough muscle on over this little break I had. They gave me feedback that I looked fuller, and I said, do I need to put muscle on anywhere? And they said no, but I'm also not at my most conditioned spot right now, right? For Fit Model conditioning. But we shall see. But I love the division. I think it is the division for me. I'm happy in it. I'm still pushing just as hard as I did when I was prepping for a bikini. My physique requires continuous push to have like a little bump up of muscle. So I love it, and that's why I do it. I don't want to say it fits my lifestyle because I am sacrificing a lot. I'm not going to lie. I might be an outlier when I say that, but I'm extremely consistent. I don't go out to eat, like I said, and that's something I have to do to be at this physique right now. And yes, I have a lot of food in my diet on a day-to-day basis, so that's the benefit of being consistent. But I wouldn't say I could sustain this higher level of consistency for a long period of time. Be honest with you, that's it. I mean, I'm pushing, man, like, I don't know what to tell you. But I also have goals bigger than me. So it requires that consistency, and it requires that little bit of sacrifice that I'm doing. But if you have any questions, well, drop them below. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, BShayFit. If you need any help with your journey, whether it's lifestyle or contest prep or posing, I am accepting new clients for all of them. You can go on my website, bshayfit.com, and all of my discounts are also listed here. You guys can check out my favorites that have helped me get more progress and stay consistent and support me on my competition journey. Thanks, guys.